Yo, peace. You are now entering into another episode of the Akashic Sketches, where we tap into the third eye and pull out and find our own answers. Today, we're going to be breaking down the science of mental noise. Follow me. All right. Today, we're going into mental noise. Mental noise. What does mental noise look like? Mental noise, the distractions that come into the mind by way of thought forms that can distract the mind and get the mind off of focused, intentional energy. That is the mental noise that we're talking about. What does mental noise look like? Noise, aka, we know noise is a sound. Sound entering the ear. What is sound? Sound is coming in the form of vibration. And each vibration is a sound. Each vibration has a sound. The sound is a frequency, and within that frequency of sound is information. Okay? The information that comes from the sound carries a message or a code of instruction for the listener, which causes the listener to act and react to certain stimuli. This is why this gets important, because we need to know what it is that we're reacting to. We need to know what it is that we're reacting to. So when it comes to sound is going to bring about a certain message. And the message that we're getting, we need to know how to interpret. But see, mental noise, once it enters the space, information or sounds or static that really has no positive feedback or no conducive purpose to our well-being, becomes distractive noise. And this noise carries with it messages. The messages are telling the listener what to do, how to move. It's a program. So within this noise, you have these different codes of information that are dictating the mind of the listener. It's almost like, if you ever seen Undercover Brother with Eddie Griffin, who else was in it? Dave Chappelle. What was my man's name? It was Eddie Griffin, Dave Chappelle, and Billy D. Williams on Undercover Brother. When the Colonel Fried Chicken was hypnotizing the people, And the people were being programmed as they ate the chicken. It's because the chicken was mind controlled. Same thing with mental noise. Mental noise can be a form of mind control. It can cause for the practitioner to operate a certain way. This is why we must be mindful and pay attention to the noise. We be mindful of the noise to understand and decode what it is that is actually being portrayed to us. The mental noise disrupts the clarity of the mind, the clarity, stability, and the groundedness of the mind. So when you have a lot of mental noise going on, mental chatter, and it's a lot of stimulation going on in the external world also, unconsciously, you could be reacting and responding in a way that's more reactive than it is grounded, because there's so much stimuli going on, not only in the external environment, but also in your own personal internal world, because your mind is loud. So mental noise is about us recognizing that and turning the volume down on the thoughts so that we can be able to see and recognize what is being portrayed to us. And so these are both frequencies. Frequencies are planes of existence that possess frequencies. And these planes of existence carry information. Now, the information can be coming from various different pockets or planes within the universe, various different spaces, because we are all in the universe, and everything we're experiencing is also in the universe. Everything we're experiencing is within the confines of the universe. So where are these messages or planes coming from within the universe? It all depends kind of on what you as the individual are tapped in or dialed in on. Every person is different. Our minds are like radio signals. They're like telephone wires picking up information. You see, this is why everything in the physical world that we deal with on a daily basis has a codified message and gives us an intuitive indicator on what's going on in other realms of existence outside of the third dimensional realm. It's just that you live on the third dimensional realm, but it is important for us to learn how to read the energy that's coming from other realms of existence, because this is not the only realm of existence. This is the physical third dimensional realm, and information exists here, but information that exists here is affected by information that is existing and that has connection with other planes or realms of existence, other worlds, whether those worlds be physical or mental worlds, aka states of mind that have been given a certain vibration over a repeated amount of time from thought. That's how the different worlds or realms of existence manifest themselves. They manifest themselves through what? Repetitious thoughts, repetitious thought forms that ultimately begin to shape and mold physical existence. And now that particular thought has now spiraled and has amassed or snowballed into a bigger, heavier mass of energy, and it has maybe now created a world of its own. And so on these different worlds where you have this mental noise, the mental noise comes in, and it's just like when you was a kid and you be watching the TV and you had, you know what I mean, that station with just the gray static. See, that's how the noise is sounding. The noise is coming and stemming from these realms, the debris. The debris from the noise coming from these various realms or pockets of mind that stem from repetitious thought. Because the more and more a thought form is repeated, the stronger and stronger the thought form is. The more energy it receives, the stronger and bigger that energetic thought form becomes, until it begins to do what? Manifest itself in the physical reality. This is how this works. By feeding it, attention feeds it. This is the mental noise, static. Thinking about something that happened last year, thinking about that mistake, thinking about that relationship, thinking about what you could have did better, what you where you've messed up at, thinking about that money you spent, thinking about that food you ate, thinking about that television show, thinking about what happened in the gossip realm. Who's dating who killed who slapped who. See what I'm saying? See, all this is mental noise. What bill do I gotta pay tomorrow? Do the babies got food? Do the babies got lunch? Do I have enough money to make it to the end of the month? Can I pay my rent? Can I pay my light bill? See, this is all mental noise from the third dimensional realm of existence to keep you hooked, into constant thinking. And the more and more you're thinking, the more and more thought forms you're creating, and then the more and more mental noise that is also creating a situation where your mental environment is not grounded. And anytime the mental environment is not grounded, it makes it prime real estate for manipulation, negative manipulation. And that is the ultimate goal, to negatively manipulate you so that you can do things that would be favorable to the continuing of human suffering, the continuing of energy harvesting. Mental noise. This is what it looks like. Static. And this is what it looks like. And then now the static begins to create what we call chaos. The static begins to create chaos. And then the chaos does what? It deals with chaos, deals with spirals. And when we start spiraling, meaning that we are doing what? We're now allowing the thoughts, allowing the energy of the thought to now take us into the negative. We're feeding it, and then we're spiraling out of control. That's what they mean when they talk about spirals. To spiral. But the spiral is the loop that is connected to each thought so that it can hook you like a hook. You gotta have the hook. Just like when you go outside, or if you fish, that's the hook. To hook your mind on the mental noise so that you can stay scattered and distracted. I want to scatter the energy and distract the energy. The more scattered the energy and the more distracted it is, the more it is able to be manipulated without even knowing it. Because it now creates scattered thoughts, create scattered emotions. And scattered emotions create an atmosphere where human beings can be controlled. Because you're no longer grounded. You're no longer grounded. You're off the ground. You're in the air. And when you're in the air, aka you're in your feelings and your thoughts, you are now no longer on the ground and you've lost your footing. And now you can be swept in the currents of the wind, aka you can be taken anywhere that somebody wants to take you mentally, to whatever feeling, thought, or emotion, because your feet are no longer planted on the ground. You are now in the air, and you can now be manipulated while you're in the air due to you having a lack of grounding. These are thought forms. And this is also the science of how mental noise works. Mental noise, static. And this is what the energy of it all looks like as it comes to me from my third eye. I am drawing this all from my mind as it's entering into my crown. It's all coming into my third eye, and this is what mental noise looks like and appears to my third eye. We are reading the energy. Mental noise. And all of this noise that's entering into the ear is programming the mind. And the mind is being programmed in a manner that is causing for the messages that's being implanted in the mind to make the person move and operate a certain way. And again, we have to know and understand that, hey, if the mind is being if you don't program your own mind, something or someone is going to come in and program the mind for you. So this is why it is important to program your own mind and be aware of what's going on. But it is not going to always come from a conscious perspective. And see, the world at large teaches it teaches most of us, the world that we are living in, it only teaches us to recognize things with the conscious mind. It does not teach how to recognize and capture information from the subconscious mind or the intuitive psychic faculties. Because the world that we live in teaches us only about the physicality of things. It does not teach us about it doesn't have much of a language. It does, if you dig, but the public institutions and spaces do not teach us how to use these other faculties to be able to pick up on information that can be privy to us and accessible to us outside of the conscious mind. This is not by design. This is also a form of distraction and mental noise to distract you to not trust your own answers, the answers that come to you intuitively, but to second guess them because it does not go into the realm of logic or reasoning or hasn't been scientifically proven. That has its place also in the realm of knowledge and wisdom and study, but not to neglect our own intuitive hunches, because that also, we are also having various other interactions with energies that exist, that we come into contact with, that our body is picking up on, but the conscious mind does not have a language to interpret it. And so therefore it may write it off, and therefore you miss the message. See, this is all a part of mental noise that is programmed into the masses. And there you have it. Mental noise. Pay attention to the thoughts that you're having. Be aware of them. Let's listen to what they're saying. What emotions are coming up when a certain thought appears in your mind? Write it out. Look at what is coming out of your mind as you write it out on paper. Writing is a really good way to empty the mind out so that you can really look at it on paper and see what's in there. It's like emptying out a bag, dumping everything out on the table. You got to do the same thing with the mind in order to extract the jewels or the messages that the subconscious mind is picking up on, that's striving to relay it to your conscious mind. The conscious mind is like the masculine principle. The subconscious mind is like the feminine principle. The law of polarity, the law of gender. Masculine and feminine principles exist in everything. Your conscious and subconscious mind is like your own internal mother and father. It's like husband and wife, your own internal husband and wife. And they are speaking to you at all times. And if you don't know how to speak the language of it, you'll be missing the messages that are meant for you. So we have to learn how to read, not just in the physical realm, but also read into spiritual realms, into other realms and dimensions, the information and energy that is being signaled or transmitted to us. So we're learning to become more literate on other realms and in other areas of existence. So today, if you want to clean and cleanse out the mental noise that you may be experiencing, I would challenge you to experiment or to take on a meditation practice to begin to learn how to harness and declutter the mind. I'll be having some meditation classes coming up soon for beginners, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. But if you can, just set a 5-minute timer for yourself and just pay attention. Strive to meditate, pay attention to the thoughts that come up. If you want, get a journal out and write out all of the thoughts that's coming up in your meditative sessions. And then once you're done, read those thoughts that's coming to you so that you can see your mind on paper. Until next time, this is the God, the Intuitive Hand, and thanks for tapping into this episode of the Akashic Sketches Mental Noise. Peace.
Meditation is the gateway to the soul.